Recording in progress.
Hello, everyone. We are going to the eighth principle of Henri Fayol, which is called as the principle of centralization. We have already finished the first seven, and so let's in the part two. Let's look at the from the eighth principle onwards. So the eighth principle is the principle of centralization. So this principle is talking in terms of the level of centralization, that is the decision-making authority, how much the manager, the top management should keep with itself, and how much it should give to the lower level managers. So this principle says that the manager should develop a certain amount of decentralization. It should try and give. Right? It should not be keeping all the decision-making powers in itself. Depending upon the circumstances, depending upon the situation, the top manager should give certain level of decision-making authority to the lower level managers. But it should not. It should be responsible for all the actions. It should not give the responsibility to the middle and lower level managers. The top management should hold the authority with itself. Should hold the responsibility with itself. Sorry, it should hold the responsibility with itself, but it should see how much it can decentralize. Depends on the capability, depends of the lower level managers, depends on the situation, depends upon the challenges. But it should have a mentality of trying to give the decision making powers to the middle and lower level managers. It should see how much it can decentralize. So it should develop a good balance between the centralization and decentralization while keeping the full responsibility of all the actions with itself. That is the principle of centralization. Next one is the principle of the hierarchy. So this principle says that as soon as we form the organization develops authority relationships. The organization develops authority relationships. This can be seen in the organizational chart. It is a fact that when we are working through the organization has authority relationships, which is mentioned at the topmost level. It is mentioned by the top management. Your top manager, you can see, is got the highest authority. Then as it goes below to the lower level, it will have different levels of the authority, right? So that can be seen the organizational chart. We can see the authority of the manager, authority level of the managers, and this is a fact that as soon as we try to do the work in the organization, it forms a rank of authority relationships, right? The organization works through a rank of authority relationships. Next is the principle of order. The principle of order says that materials and people should be in the right place at the right time. People in particular should be in the jobs or positions they are most suited to. So, this principle says that this is the principle of order. And it says that all the materials and people should be in the right place at the right time. Right? We should, once we are done with some tools and equipments, we have to ensure that we keep it back in the right place so that the next worker who wants to use it will not go searching for it. It has to be in the right places, right? So that he can take and do the works immediately and he can fulfill his tasks, right? So there'll be so many appliances, so many materials, so many machines which are commonly used. So you should not, workers, once he uses it, should not keep it with himself or in his workplace. There is a proper place for it and it has to be kept there. And this particularly emphasizes the people also. This It's very interesting to see that this the starting itself, Henry Fowler has developed this insight of having the right people in the right positions, right? There has to be people with different levels of competence will be there. They'll have different areas of competence, and we have to ensure that all of the people are in the right places to do the job, depending upon their talent and depending upon their competencies. That is the principle of the order. Next is the principle of equity. The principle of equity says that managers should be both friendly and fair to the subordinates, right? So this is the principle of equity. So this principle says that there has to be to the all the subordinates there has to be a friendly nature because there will be all the employees are not the same. They have different talents. They have different capabilities, right? So the manager should not develop a kind of partial attitude, where partiality kind of an attitude he should not develop. Right? He has to ensure that he is above all the differences. The people have got varying different talents, So what the manager should have is that he should be both friendly and fair to the subordinates. This is the principle of equity. Is to be friendly and fair to the subordinates. Next is the principle of stability of staff. This principle says that a high employee turnover prevents the efficient functioning of the organization. So if the employees are leaving continuously, that is, the employee turnover is high, that means the functioning of the organization will get compromised. It will get jeopardized, right? So there has to be a system, there has to be a way of working in which there is a good level of satisfaction for the employees, so that the employees do not leave the organization. So the employees do not leave the organization. That is the principle of the stability of staff. Next initiative is the principle of initiative. The principle of initiative says that subordinates should be given freedom to think and carry out their plans, even though some mistakes may result. This principle is telling about the insight developed that we should give initiative to the subordinates to accomplish the tasks, right? They have to form their own resources, they have to form their own mind, they have to apply so that they become confident of doing the jobs. Everything should not be laid out that this is the exact way of doing the job and no amount of deviation is possible in doing the job. That is not the way an organization should be run. It will not develop talent in the organization. The talent in the organization will develop only when the employees are given the initiative, that is, they are given the freedom to think and carry out the way the work has to be done in the best possible manner, they think, even though they are making the mistakes, right? Even if though the work is not done in a perfect manner, that initiative has to be given to the subordinates so that they learn and they develop confidence and they are becoming better in their job. This is the principle of initiative. And the last principle is the principle of esprit de corps. This says that the manager should strive to develop team spirit in his group or in his organization. The manager should try and develop a team spirit. He should not follow the policy of divide and rule or some other principle. Overall, there has to be a good camaraderie and friendliness and unity among his subordinates, so that they will be they don't have to so there'll be less politics and less kinds of aspects, negative aspects in the organization. So there has to be a good team spirit and good friendly nature in the organization among all the employees, and the manager has to work in such a manner that there is a good unity among all the employees, so that in the way the organization is run and is functioning. This is the principle of esprit de corps. So thank you. These are the 14 principles of Henri Fayol.